with mountains and monasteries. This is a tourist hotspot and a hotbed of hostility. At the foot of that mountain, you're in Russian-occupied territory. That is a Russian military base on land seized by Vladimir Putin in a bloody invasion. But I'm not in Ukraine. I'm in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia. And now, the chill winds of a new Cold War are blowing through Tbilisi. Fears of influence, of infiltration.
We believe that we officially now have Russian government. They speak Georgian, but they are Russians.
For those here banking on a European future, the rule of the Georgian Dream government has become an Orwellian nightmare. The party has sabotaged the country's prospects of joining the EU amid allegations of a stolen election to benefit Russia.
It's a shift towards Russia, which is a new strategy, which is no longer the direct military aggression. If it works here, it can be applied anywhere.
The people we've spoken to here believe that the Georgian Dream government is actually being influenced by Russia.
This question is not a serious one. It's part of a kind of propaganda.
Is this part of a sinister plot by the Kremlin to shape politics across Europe? Georgia sits in the shadow of Russia. Across the Black Sea from Ukraine, sandwiched between Europe and Asia. Its sovereignty prized, but hard won. Every night for months now, anti-government protesters have taken up positions outside the parliament. They're being watched. Guram Ragava is a reporter for a pro-opposition TV station.
There's a lot of people wearing face masks. Why are people covering their faces?
You see a lot of cameras are here, and if they found your face and you're standing on the streets, you have to pay a bill. It's a lot of money, 5,000 lari.
It's about 2,500 Australian dollars. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for Georgians.
But Georgian Dream's enforcers don't just hit detractors in the pocket.
Yeah, I was on live. I was telling to my audience what is happening at that moment. I saw a lot of police without any identification. One of these policemen attacked me.
He fractured Guram's skull and neck.
The doctor told me that it's a miracle that I can still move my hands and legs. It's ironical that we have so much cameras around here, but government tells me that at that moment when I was attacked, there was some technical issues with all these cameras. It's bullshit. This is the message from Georgian Dream. Don't dream about democracy. Be silent and you will be alive. If not, we can do anything to you.
More protesters arrive chanting slogans against the government, which the European Parliament says cheated its way into power. It's passed repressive laws that mimic those in Russia, and it started jailing dissenters. Before all this former Soviet republic had been poised to join the EU, a goal so cherished in Georgia it's enshrined in its constitution. When Georgian Dream blew up that process, it was the last straw for opposition politician Zurab Japaridze. he's boycotting Parliament.
Any poll in this country will show that more than 80% of people support EU integration. And instead of going there and becoming a full member of European Union with all benefits that comes with it, we are becoming more and more autocratic country.
He's been called to appear before a parliamentary committee, but has refused. That might soon land him behind bars.
How are you feeling about it?
A bit nervous, but I had the feeling that sooner or later we will get there when they will start arresting politicians. Yeah, I got family, I got 3 kids. It's not that easy to psychologically get prepared for that.
He's in no doubt where the blame lies for Georgia's anti-democratic tilt.
Who or what is behind it?
It's Russia, definitely. It's Russia's playbook.
Georgians have good reason to fear their northern neighbour.
To understand the very real physical threat Russia poses, I'm driving north, just half an hour out of Tbilisi. About 400 metres from this highway is an invisible line, and on the other side is Russian-occupied South Ossetia.
Russia seized the separatist regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia after a war with Georgia in 2008. A land grab of more than 20% of Georgian territory. Moscow would later do exactly the same in Ukraine.
Some Georgians have told us they don't actually know where the borderline is. It's where the Russians say it is. And to be honest, that's a bit nerve-wracking.
Up ahead, a Georgian police checkpoint.
I'm going to pull over and talk to them, yeah?
First of all, we cannot shoot the police.
Right. Oh, okay, all right, we'll put it down. Sorry. We've just arrived at the village of Kurbali, and just over here behind the camera, we're not allowed to film it, but it's a Georgian police post. They're armed and they're not letting us go any further. And that's because just a couple of days ago, 3 men from a nearby village were picked up by Russian troops. And that's because we are so close to Russian-occupied territory. If you look halfway up that hill at that cutting, on the other side, that is Russian-occupied South Ossetia.
More than 100 people from this village have been abducted by Russian troops since 2008. Most fined and released, some detained for more than a year. There's a bizarre glass castle lording it over Tbilisi. It's the lair of an oligarch who made his billions in Russia in computing, banking and metals before founding the Georgian Dream Party on a pro-Europe platform. His name is Bidzina Ivanishvili. He's notoriously reclusive, making a rare appearance late last year at this party rally with his rapper son. After Russia invaded Ukraine, Ivanishvili turned on the EU and started touting a conspiracy theory, accusing dark forces in the West of trying to push Georgia into a war with Russia too. While some suspect he's been a Putin plant all along, one of his most loyal lieutenants is Georgian Dream's longest-serving minister, Thea Tsulukiani.
A lot of the people we've spoken to here believe that the Georgian Dream government is actually being influenced by Russia. Perhaps it's even acting on behalf of Russia. What do you say to that? Is that true?
For me, this is, with all my respect to you and to this question is not a serious one, because it's part of a kind of propaganda.
She, like Ivanishvili, has a name for the dark forces working against Georgia, the Global War Party.
What is that? Tell me about that.
Today it's a bitter reality that multinational companies, oligarchs, were trying to decide on political issues. And we feel it every day in Georgia. It's
So who's in this
influence
global
coming
war party?
from outside.
But who's in this global war party? Who are these forces
I do
working
not
against
personally
Georgia?
know them.
And how is it that this government's so convinced that this thing exists when you don't even know who's in it?
I cannot answer questions as a Vice Speaker of this Parliament in a manner in which I would damage my own country's national security.
And you believe that there are outside
I do not
forces?
believe I know.
You know that there are outside forces trying to push Georgia into a war with Russia.
They were not trying, they were requesting us categorically.
Standing up more firmly to Russia, she says, would be national suicide.
This is the main reproach to us. Why don't we fight Russia with arms? But it means death of the Georgian nation.
I wanted to track down the secretive oligarch Bidzina Ivanishvili, and I've heard he's in his home village, Chorvila. Mamuka Machavariani, something of a local fixer for Ivanishvili, offers to show us around. It quickly becomes clear we can't get near the oligarch.
Ai akari bidzina sakhli ak chadixar da ukve tqeshi ari ra. Ყველა სახლი ივანიშვილის აშენებული არის ამ სოფელში, რაც ახალი სახლია.
I ask Mamuka about Ivanishvili's private menagerie.
Do you think he has any kangaroos?
კი.
Yes?
და,
Kangaroos?
და.
My gosh.
ანეკდოტი იცი მაგრამ ერთ-ერთი კენგურო დაიღუპა. დაიღუპა მოვკვდა კაცმა ამხელა ფული გედიხა და რო ჩამოიყვანას. და რა მოკლა კენგურო რა მოვიდა თქვენი თქვით ჭორვილაში რა უნდა კენგუროს თუ არა რა მოკლა
It doesn't take long for Ivanishvili's personal security to find out we're here.
ოჯოდია მოვალთა მაგრამ რაღაცას საუბრობთ და უყვები რა ბიძინა
And now it's the regional governor calling.
ლევან გედუღე სურათები რაღაც დოკუმენტურ ფილს ამზადებ რაღაც ბიძინაზე და მეც არაფერს არ ეკითხებიან ნუ ზოგს კი შეეკითხენ Chevrolet, Jeepy,
The oligarch's men quickly catch up with us.
თქვენთან ვინ გამოვიდა კონტაქტს, როგორ გამოვიდნენ ესენი კონტაქტს?
It's clear Ivanishvili's money has bought loyalty.
უფლება რა კაცმა ამდენი რამე გაგვიკეთა საქართველოში 2008 წლიდან ტყვია არ გავარდნილა საქართველოში ეს ვისი დამსახურება აი ამ კაცის დამსახურება და როგორ შეიძლება ამ კაცზე ცუდი თქვა მაგრამ არიან ზოგი
It's extremely hard to find out anything about the oligarch Bidzina Ivanishvili. But there's one man who knows him better than most. He's fled the country, he's living in exile, and I'm going to give him a call. Hello, how are you?
Good, how about you? I see you are in a nicer place than I am.
Yeah, do you miss it?
Yeah, of course I miss it.
Giorgi Bachiashvili worked for the oligarch for more than a decade until they had a spectacular falling out in 2022. he says, over Russia's Ukraine invasion.
So in 2022, I was the only person within Ivanishvili's circle who's been actively supporting Ukraine. And obviously, well, as I found out, it was not welcomed by Ivanishvili, these views. Therefore, it was the first time he gave me that sort of threatening call in my life when he just said outright that I better be quiet or he'll show me how he dealt with those criminals in Russia.
As the EU responded to Russia's aggression with sanctions, Ivanishvili's party refused to follow suit.
I think it's become too obvious that Ivanishvili has chosen a side, and this side is definitely not the West and not the democratic future for Georgia.
Is he controlled by Russia? Is he influenced by Russia?
He's possessed by his fears of losing control and grip on the power. Therefore, he's naturally aligned to any big power that will let him stay in charge of Georgia. He also owes Russia. Ivanishvili knows that for every businessman or oligarch that was let out of Russia, there are these invisible strings attached. And these strings are very powerful because these strings can sometimes even kill a person. And we've seen
Giorgi Bachiashvili is not just in exile because his boss threatened him. The oligarch had him charged with embezzlement. He fled the country, and after what he calls a show trial, he was sentenced in absentia to 11 years in jail. Georgia is in a spasm of patriotism. Cute, but sinister. I'm meeting a man who knows about the dark side of nationalism. A former Dutch intelligence operative who's lived most of his life in the shadows. Now he's stepping into the light. Jelle Postma is the founder of the NGO Justice for Prosperity.
We are an intelligence service for good. We support the societies to understand better how they're being manipulated.
He and his team have seen evidence that Bidzina Ivanishvili continues to have financial interests in Russia.
What do you make of Mr. Ivanishvili's glass castle overlooking the city?
It's very symbolic, like the ultimate dictator's palace.
For years, Jelle's been investigating how Russia's honed its playbook, exploiting family values to influence societies, to Moscow's benefit.
We see 4 groups working together to further their own goals. These 4 groups are the political populist layer, in the case of Georgia, just Georgian Dream. Then we have the ultra-conservative, often religious organizations. Then the oligarchs, and they're in it for the big bucks, so to speak. And then finally, you have the extremists and the influencers. They work mostly below the radar to further their goals. And in the end, it is the people on the ground that are being, as the metaphor goes, slowly being boiled to death like the frog, but they're unaware.
To justify Georgia's pivot away from Europe, he says European values needed to be attacked.
What we see in Georgia is a laboratory of hate. When aiming to manipulate a society, nothing works like fear does. You need fear in society if you want more power as a government. And to be given that power, you need real fear in the streets. So fear-mongering, feeling and seeing riots, especially with some good photos in it, then you have your perfect playbook to get more votes and support, to be allowed to become more dictatorial. So any group would do. The LGBTQ community was the first ones out there. They were the best group because they're not well protected. There's only some NGOs that protect the LGBTQ community, which makes them just too easy of a target.
Today is Family Purity Day, established by the powerful Orthodox Church. There's a throng of Georgian Dream officials, including the Prime Minister, all here to defend so-called family values they feel are under threat from an overly permissive EU.
ბრძოლა გრძელდება ტრადიციული ფასეულობებისთვის. ეს ბრძოლა არ არის იოლი, არის ძლიერი ძალები, რომლებიც უპირისპირდებიან ტრადიციულ ფასეულობებს.
It's no accident that Family Purity Day is held on this date, because it's also the International Day against homophobia, transphobia and biphobia. And just last year, the Georgian Dream government made Family Purity Day a national holiday.
That's not all. The government's also passed a Russian-style law forbidding, among other things, the portrayal of LGBTQ people in the media. Konstantine Morgoshia is the founder of the far-right group Alt-Info. Some accuse it of being pro-Russian. The US brands it a violent extremist group.
This day for me is the most important day after the Christmas.
Is it not offensive to put this Family Purity Day on the same day for LGBTQI people?
საქართველოში LGBT პროპაგანდის დღე აღინიშნება მაშინ, როცა ისრაელში აღინიშნება ნაცისტური.
In 2021, far-right thugs broke into the headquarters of Tbilisi Pride. They hunted down pro-LGBT activists. And the man accused of orchestrating the violence? Konstantine Morgoshia.
You've been sanctioned by the United States for inciting really violent attacks on gay pride events. Do you understand why they did that to you?
იმიტომ რომ ჩემი ქვეყნისთვის ვიბრძოდი და ამით მხოლოდ ამაყივარ.
Why are you so worried about and scared of the LGBTQI community and their supporters here in Georgia?
But
why are you so against them?
იმიტომ რომ ეს ჩემი ქვეყნის ტრადიციებისთვის არის დასასრული.
But those who believe in progressive, inclusive values can draw a crowd too. On Georgian Independence Day, there's a bigger than usual protest at Parliament. Headlining the event, the figurehead of the resistance, Georgia's last popularly elected president, Salome Zourabichvili. After 6 years as head of state, Georgian Dream replaced her with a far-right ally after the disputed election last October. But Salome Zourabichvili has refused to step aside.
ეს არის ყველა დიქტატორული რეჟიმის ერთადერთი ხერხი. დაყავი და იბატონე და ეს არ უნდა დავუშვათ.
Why was it important for you to come and speak here today?
Because I'm with these people, I'm their president, which they come and tell me at every possible occasion. And I think that this country needs continuity, needs somebody to represent it. Today, at this moment, I am that person.
As president, she saw firsthand how the ruling party turned its back on Europe.
Why do you think that Georgian Dream has made this shift away from a path towards membership in the European Union?
Why? Because, in fact, nobody knows why. What we are seeing establishing itself in Georgia and what we are resisting is a Russian-type regime. It's a shift towards Russia, a new strategy by Russia, which is no longer the direct military aggression, which has not really worked. It has not really worked against Ukraine. Now here they're experimenting a new strategy, hybrid strategy. How do you get to control a country, to take partly domination on the country through manipulation of elections, through propaganda, through a proxy government. That is something that if it works here to the end, if it's completely successful, it can be applied anywhere.
What do you think it will take to stop Georgia from becoming a full-blown autocracy or authoritarian regime?
Well, what stops it from becoming that is essentially the Georgian civil society and the Georgian individuals' resilience. But of course, the attention, I would say, of the outside world is very important, because that is what founds the moral of this population that resists. If suddenly we have the impression that we are forgotten from everyone, that we are completely alone, that's much more difficult.
We're at the Tbilisi City Court. Police outnumber protesters who believe the judiciary has been captured by the government. Today, opposition MP Zurab Japaridze, who we met at the protest, is going to find out if he'll be jailed while awaiting his trial. His wife Thea Tsulukiani is by his side.
How's it going in there?
Well, whatever appeals we had, the judge said no on every single of them. Whatever appeals the prosecutor's office had, he just approves everything. So this is what was expected.
After several hours, the court hearing's over. Zurab's cuffed and led off to the cells.
This is what the sharp end of living in an increasingly authoritarian country looks like. They've come for the queer community, they've come for NGOs, they've come for the media, and they've come for elected politicians.
It's been 3 days since Zurab was taken into pre-trial detention. I've arranged to see his wife Nata and their kids.
Hi, Nata.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for having us.
Sure.
We're really grateful.
Like many, she found the court hearing a farce.
So it's complete mockery, pretty much, and it just makes you feel really, I don't know, offended. And sort of, I don't know, you feel like they're taking away your dignity in a way.
The kids, 11-year-old Kato and 7-year-old Costa, are under the impression their dad might not be home for a month. Nata knows that in reality, he could be jailed for up to a year.
We've never been without him for like, I don't know, more than 5 or 6 days, I guess, and it's very tough. And when I talked to Zura and when I told him, you know, do you realize how tough it's gonna be, you know, for kids, let alone for myself? But he said that at least when they grow up, he said, they will not be ashamed of me, so they will know that their father, you know, did the right thing. So that's how he looks at it. Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. I have to admit, I do, yeah.